Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. My sponsor, High Frequency Performance Wear, Steve Hakeem, owner. Appreciate their support, along with Eating Clothing Co., BBA Audio, rap artists, groups, Coondoc. Shout out to Low Key, Winning, Gino R&B, Hustle House Studios, PKP Productions, Records. Shout out to them boys from the Six. You know, and everybody that played a part in the movie Everyday People, make sure you go out, check out the trailer, subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to Verbal Pick Radio, the radio station. Go to Spreaker.com, Verbal Pick Radio, Everyday People, and subscribe. It's definitely going down. Now, this thing with the national anthem makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, and I can understand why a lot of white people don't understand why, or they disagree with Marshawn Lynch or Colin Kaepernick or anybody who doesn't stand for the flag. And a lot of it has to do with a lack of knowledge on the reason why, and a lot of it has to do with that some people only view things from their vantage point. They're not looking at the whole scope of the situation. They're just caught into their emotions and feelings about the situation. But the situation is bigger than their emotions and feelings. The things that led up to people, really, to be honest with you, there's always been a certain not disdain, but a certain people being skeptical of the flag, because this is not new information. The third verse of the national anthem, we was forced to put our hands over our heart to pledge allegiance to something that wasn't created in our best interest. And as people know that we as a people of black people, we go back to a foundation or the creation of something, and if it has good roots, then we'll deal with it, because you have to understand we and our ancestors and our lineage goes back to the beginning of time. So that means that we understood the value of how things were to be created. We only lost that sense of value through a period of slavery. But pre-slavery, we could look at the fruit and say, yeah, this is good fruit because this fruit has good roots. It was rooted in good soil. Therefore, you have the good fruit. We knew that, and we knew if that was the case, then it would sustain you for generations. So we would cling to that. And so when slavery time hit, the wicked slave masters, when they raided different villages and whatnot, and they like they did, let's say, how the hieroglyphics was discovered when they first went into certain tombs, to the pyramids. They saw funny writing. Took them 7 years, which was Napoleon's brother. Took him 7 years. He deciphered the hieroglyphics, and then some books they burned, so they didn't want people to know who was who and what knowledge that they learned from that helped advance their civilization. The whole thing, we know that. So anyway, when they went in and took some of the books and learned some of the writings and how we did things, then they concocted a plan on how to reverse that cycle, or break the cycle, or or find a way not to carry that knowledge and information on to the next generation because they knew that was strength. So they did that. So the next thing was, okay, you did that, you cut off the knowledge and the ties or whatnot, but they failed to realize that knowledge was, how can I say, it was embedded within the DNA, within the Akashic records. We always will know to go to the root of a situation. And then we can determine from the foundation if it's going to be solid or if it's going to fall in the end. So it would go against our sanity to be part of something that we knew didn't have a good foundation or a good root from the beginning. So what took place was, now we're on the national anthem. What took place was when Francis Scott Keys wrote the poem that later became the national anthem, he was taunting the Brits, telling them that we would never let our grip go on these slaves. The only way these hirelings and slaves would be free is from the grave. When they die, that's when they'll be free. That's why a lot of people are saying, well, I'd rather be dead than be a slave. It came from that. And, some people to this day feel that way. Slavery was not a welcome thing. Nobody wanted to be a slave. So some would take themselves out, would take their children out, because the yearning for freedom is a lot more important than being someone's slave. So that's what that was all about. But of course, people don't want to acknowledge that, and that's fine. But you can't force a people to bow down to something that didn't have their best interest in the first place, because that's insanity. So it's almost like they're telling black people, hey, look, you're going to always be our slave, and you stand up when we tell you to stand up. But they fail to realize that becomes a choice. Do I go with what my ancestors taught me and what God put on my heart to do? Or am I so afraid that even though I disagree, I'll do your bidding anyway because I'm afraid of the repercussions? And so that's still not freedom. And man, and one thing I gotta say, see the reason why we having these issues, because you got so many girly men who don't want to stand up for what's right. They're afraid, or they've been masculinized to a degree of they can't stand up. They don't want no problems. They don't want to stand for anything. And the other problem is, white people believe that those that don't stand for the national anthem is a threat against them, when it has nothing to do with white America. It has everything to do with, hey, look, this document, a doctrine, this poem, wasn't created, wasn't designed with my best interest at heart. So why would I continue to give energy and life to something that didn't have my best interest at heart? That would make me an idiot. You just saying, hey, stand, because I said stand. But as President Trump stated, let's have a dialogue. Let's deal with all the issues, not just the ones that someone else puts on the table and say, you only can discuss these issues. But other issues are taboo because it's going to make people feel a certain way. We don't care about how they feel or their emotional standpoint or viewpoint about a certain situation. Who cares? We're dealing with mathematics, facts, dealing with science. And the fact is, stop. Black people should not have to stand for the national anthem, because the national anthem foundation and creation was not created with the best intentions of black people from the start. As an example, it's like you're getting ready to run a 100-yard dash. You have the starting block, and the creator of the race came and told the black person, look, you have to run with these weights on your leg. And the black person can say, well, I don't want to run with the weights on my leg. How can I win the race if you put weights on my leg? You know what I mean? And they say, just do it. Or I'm a physically punish you. Or I'm a hurt you. I'm gonna find some way to make you do it. So he runs the race, loses the race, and they tell him don't take the weights off. But then one day he's gonna be like, you know what? The hell with it. I'm not running with these damn weights on. Whatever is whatever, but I'm a man. I'm free. Why handicap myself? And I'm understanding you didn't have any intentions on me winning in the first place. That's why you put the weights on me. Who's the fool? So that's what that's about. It's not, this is not, the national anthem is not a race thing. It's a psyche thing. And to be honest with you, we just discussed it. This is for Trump. Maybe we can dialogue on it. But the national anthem is not a race thing at all. The national anthem is a psyche thing. It's a foundation. It's saying, this is what it's saying. It's saying that our intentions were to always to have you as a slave. And even though time has passed and we realize that could no longer stand true, we still would like you to get up and salute the intentions, even though it wasn't in your best interest. Because it looks bad when you don't. And it shows, and it offends a lot of people. And it shows disunity. So now we're at the negotiating table. Then one could possibly say, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's have something to right the wrong then. Let's sit down and agree to where both sides can be happy. Then that way, there's a dual respect. How about that? Because if the side that created the issue is not willing to compromise, then not willing to communicate, then what the hell are we doing? If you stick your chest out to the world and say, hey, I'm a fair-minded being. Someone says, yeah, okay, we're fair-minded, then let's right some of these wrongs then. that means then they're saying, well, if we write something wrong, that means I would have to give up some ground, and I don't want to give up ground. And the other side is saying, yeah, but I'm trying to gain ground because the ground was snatched from under my feet. And we know who the perpetrators are. So now what? You know, we know let's deal. Now, one thing before we close out. Poor white people who don't have pot to piss in or when to throw it out. Stop hiding behind racism. Nobody's trying to replace you. No one has your country which you're going to take back from. No one is to blame for your opioid use. When the CIA purposely dumped crack within the black community and the chemical warfare and destroyed a lot of black communities. What? Destroyed a lot of black communities from the distribution and the creation of crack cocaine. And then when the parents would get on crack and neglect the children, the children would be taken from the home and the parents would be in jail. There was no preventive maintenance for crack. Now, 360 degrees, karma came back around and slapped the white people in the face with opioids. Now all of a sudden, we need put it in Medicare. We need preventive maintenance. Don't take the children seeing the parents overdose, calling the police, and the parents doesn't lose custody. Now it becomes an epidemic. It's a problem. We have to solve it. And now it's like, come on, man, seriously. Are you being a hypocrite or what? You thought that black people were silenced, that we were mute or we were dumb or fecal-minded is the term they use. That we were fecal-minded and we couldn't understand or comprehend all the tricks, games, and lies that was played upon us, that we was quiet because it was just over our heads. We had no perception of what that you all was so smart that we don't see what you're doing right in front of our face. And it wasn't that at all. The reason why we took a lot of it is because you had leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a good person. I'm not knocking Dr. Martin Luther King, but we were trying that method of nonviolence or love to hate out of white people, so we kept quiet, hoping that they would correct their own actions. Even though Honorable Elijah Muhammad was stating that that's not going to happen. But we had to try that way. Just like Abraham. Abraham, go out there and see if you can find 10. 3, 2, go see if you can find just one then. So black people had to go through that. We had to go through the stages of keeping quiet, taking the fact that we getting screwed over, but in the interest of an experiment, because integration and the whole civil rights movement was an experiment, but the people became sacrificial lambs in a sense, take the abuse to see if that would end it and they would see what they're doing. They would have so much love for us that they would stop it. But it takes two to tango, meaning if you loving someone, then they have to reciprocate that same amount of love in return. So if you loving them, but you're not getting the love in return, then you become the idiot. Not them, because they're showing you better than they can tell you. But you so wrapped up in an illusion until you don't realize or you don't want to see, or that mystery God, that hope. One day they're going to get it right. I'm telling you, one day. Generation done passed. Okay, well, they're going to get it right this generation. They're going to get it right this generation. I mean, all the way until this week you had Charlottesville, Virginia. And you still got some preachers with a white Jesus on the wall somewhere in America, believe me, saying one day we gonna get it right. When the only solution that seemed to work is what Honorable Elijah Muhammad put forward. If you go back and read what he was saying and what he had stated, that was your solution and your answer. You know, that was the only answer that was based on sound decision making or mathematics and science. Something you can put your hand on, something that you can see, something that's tangible, something that works. The illusions, dreams, wishful thinking, hope that it would be, or good for romanticism. But when you get down in the real world, you need real solutions to real problems. And that's just, you can't get around that. That's just what it is. So you can't blame anyone because job well done, good deed, we appreciate the effort. Right? But in this day and time, we need something solid on the ground while we still around. You can't blame people for wanting to be free. And what is freedom? You want to be free, but what entails that word that you like to be free? What does that all encompasses? Freedom is the right to exercise the thoughts that comes into your mind with the respect of the human family as a whole. Meaning, you free to exercise God's will through you on a physical plane. Because you don't know how far your thoughts can go and travel in the physical world. Because the thoughts are not in the physical plane. The thoughts are in the darkness of the mind. Then it comes to light and manifests itself. And so if you have someone who stands in the way of that and said, hey, wait, you can't exercise 100% of your thoughts because we don't want to take the chance of your thoughts overshadowing our thoughts. So we'll only allow you to use certain percentages of your thoughts while you on this planet. For a time and a time and a time to come. And it's like, well, who would agree? Who would make that pact? Who would agree to that deal? I didn't agree to that deal. Who would agree to something like that, you know? You know, because if you are a human being created by the Creator, then you can't settle for certain things. You can't. It's like saying, then I'll turn my back on the Creator and not go where He wants me to go, and I'll settle for doing your bidding. I'll make a pact with you on earth, and I'll disconnect myself with the universe. That's insanity. That wouldn't fly. And it's not personal. You know, like the song said, don't take it personal. It's just what it is. And yes, you can handle the truth. Because you was created on truth. You can handle it. You can handle all of it, even more. You can handle more than what you think you can. That's why it was stated that God wouldn't put anything on you that you couldn't handle. He wouldn't put any burdens on you that you couldn't handle. If he created you on truth, or if he's giving you the truth, then you can handle it no matter who you are. And you can run from it. See, the civil rights era was a good era. But some issues were ran away upon, meaning that we didn't face it head on and it never went away. So that lets you know that integration wasn't the solution. It was just not a deterrence, but it just delayed the obvious. And we'll get into the obvious in a minute, but that's all it did. And it kept coming up, and it keep coming up because it wasn't never fully dealt with. That's why Trump is in office, to be honest with you. The only reason why Trump became president is because he has the I guess you say thickness of skin to sit down at the table, let's deal with it all without running and shying away from the ugly truth. That's what it is. Trump can deal with the ugly truth when a lot of people didn't want to touch it. He don't mind touching it. He like, come on, let's get it on. Let's touch the truth and let's see what's what. He rather deal with it straight up. So you gotta give that credit. You know, you gotta say, okay, cool. That's what's up. You can say that's what's up to that. Anybody that's willing to sit down and say, okay, let me hear your grievance and feel free to share it out. Let's deal with it. And when he says, come on, let's deal with it, you can't get up there shaking in your boot. Well, I'm glad you met with me. Nah, that's why you got Brother Farrakhan, who can go in there and look him in the eye and then deal. This is what we want. This is what's going to happen. This so-and-so. Then you can respect that. Now you can respect it. Because we know Brother Farrakhan not going there with his head down, talking about, black and white folk got to find a way to live together. We all God's children. Look here, man, what's your gripe? This is what we want, what you want. Look, don't come over here with this. Don't put your hands on me. Don't do so. Okay, we gonna deal as men. Hey, okay, you keep shooting me down in the street, partner. You finna get some back. Anybody standing around taking no BS? Men, we speaking as men, not you the big man, I'm the little man, or I'm the big man, you nah. Let's deal with this thing straight up. We gonna come to terms. That's why. That's what you need. You don't need nobody that's gonna go to the negotiating table. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for giving me the privilege to even look at you. We don't want no problem. Can y'all please find it in your heart to see us as your equal? I thank you for the time. And once again, we don't want no problems with you. Just please find it in your heart to see me as somebody. That's some bullshit. That'll never work. You not laying no demands on the table. You not putting your evidence forth to prove what you saying, and then you not saying, and if this don't happen, then this is the repercussions. You can't go in and negotiate like no pussycat. So that's the importance of Brother Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, and the history. Trying to build you up as black people, men and women, so you can look right into the eyes of who oppressed you and deal with them intelligently, intellectually, and put your demands on the table if we're going to be here together, or else. That's why I was justice or else. Who you think you're dealing with? You think we're going to get injustice and there's no or else? That's not racism. That's saying, hey man, don't hit me, or else. You can understand that, huh? It's like with your children. Hey, don't do this, or else. Because you know if you continue to do that, you won't have no house. You won't have any money. Everything you buy be broke up, and you'll keep spending your same dime over and over again trying to replace something, when all you had to do was put your foot down and say, hey, don't do that no more. I'm not out here working to keep to throw money away. Everybody can understand that. So yeah, hey, World Pick Radio, make sure y'all go check out the movie trailer, Everyday People, the official movie trailer. Make sure you subscribe to this page. Go to Spreaker.com, subscribe to the page. Keep comments going. Hey, you know, we're building. Appreciate everyone that's listening. Hey, watch how we grow. World Pick Video, we're out.